Yeah, morning students. The continuation of problems based on equations of motion. Here is a problem for you. A car moving with constant acceleration covered the distance between 2 points 60 meters apart in 6 seconds. 2 points are 60 meters in 6 seconds. Its speed while crossing the second point is 15 meter per second. What is the speed at first point and at what prior distance from the first point was it at rest? So here the question asked is a car traveling from A to B, let us take. So these are the 2 points which are separated by 60 meters, let it be S. So the time taken is 6 seconds. Now here at the second point, speed is 15 meter per second. This is V2, second point. You are asked to find out V1. This is first question. And second question is, at what prior distance from first point was it at rest? From first point, at what distance it was at rest? Let this point be O, and here it is at rest. So it started from rest. So at what prior distance from first point was it at rest? This is the second question. So first, here what is the data given? Distance between 2 points and one velocity V2, time, and you are asked to find V1. So while you are solving problems in motion in a straight line, for constant acceleration methods, we have equations of motion, but you have to decide which equation is to be chosen. Here according to the data, V1, V2, T, S. So if we go for general equations of motion which are V is equal to U plus AT, there you don't know initial velocity, again acceleration is unknown. If you go for S is equal to ut plus half at squared, for this journey, again you don't know u and a. If you go for v squared minus u squared is equal to 2as, again a is unknown and u is unknown here. For this journey, this is the initial velocity. Means these equations of motion are not useful here. Then V1, V2, T, S. Yesterday in the earlier class, we derived an expression, displacement is equal to average velocity into time, we know. So S is equal to V1 plus V2 by 2 into T. Here we know all the parameters except V1. So writing for S 60, V1, and for V2 15 by 2 into 6. So 6 tenths, 2 10 20 minus 15. So 20 is equal to V1 plus 15. V1 is equal to 5 meter per second. So now we obtained V1. Now the question asked, at what prior distance from first point it was at rest? So here you have to calculate this distance x. At what distance from first point it was at rest? So here, since it was at rest, initial velocity is 0, and for this distance, this is a final velocity, as we know, 5 meter per second. Now you have to find out x. So again here you have v square minus u squared, 2as, x unknown, a unknown. Of course you know v and u. Now here you have a chance. Since acceleration is constant, now for this time t, you know v is equal to u plus at. For this journey v is v2, from v is equal to u plus at, v2 is equal to a to b, v1 initial a and t. Now you know v2 is given as here 15, v1 as 5, acceleration unknown, this is 6. So acceleration is 15 minus 5, 10 by 6, this is 5 by 3. So here acceleration is known, 5 by 3 meter per second square. Now for O2A, according to v square minus u square is equal to 2as. For O2A, v is v1 squared u squared 2a, distance is taken as x. Now here v1 is given as 15 square u0 2a 5 by 3 into x. Now this is 225, that is equal to, sorry, v1 here we obtained as 5, so 5 squared is equal to 25 is equal to 10 by 3 x. Now x is 75 by 10, which is 7.5 meters. Once again, here we obtained v1 as 5 and given v2 as 15. So substituting these values, we derived a as 5 by 3 meter second inverse 2. Now from O to A, taking the expression v squared minus u squared is equal to 2as. Here v for this journey is, final is v1, initial is u which is 0, final is 5 further journey, and s is x, acceleration we have to take in 5 by 3 which we derived here. So x which is 7.5 meters. Okay. Now one more problem, simple one. Starting from rest, you go on your bicycle in a straight line with acceleration 1 meter per second squared for 5 seconds. So for 5 seconds you moved with an acceleration 1 meter per second squared starting from rest. Then with a constant velocity after 5 seconds, for another 5 seconds you moved with a constant velocity, means here for this portion acceleration is 0. Find displacement in total 10 seconds. Okay. So let the body, here you started at point A, initial velocity 0, for first time 5 seconds you moved with an acceleration 1 meter second inverse 2 for 5 seconds. Now here your velocity may be some v1 and the distance travelled for this portion, let it be s1. After 5 seconds, again for one more 5 seconds, let it be 5 second interval as t2, you move to C, this is point C. Here the velocity may be some v2 and the distance travelled for this portion is s2. You are asked for this entire 10 seconds, what is the distance? S, which is s1 plus s2. So this is the problem asked. Then for first 5 seconds, taking which formula is suitable? So first, here we have to find S. So S is equal to, U is known 0, ut plus half at squared. Then you can find S. Here after 5 seconds the body moves with constant velocity, means here if it is V1, again here also this is V1. Why? Because for that 5 seconds time it moves with constant velocity, means here the velocity also same, but acceleration becomes 0. Then for first one, from S is equal to ut plus half at squared, where S we have to write as S1, u is 0 into t 0 plus half a1 t squared, 5 squared is 25. So it was 12.5 meters. This is S1. And for the next 5 seconds, if you want to find out S2, since acceleration is 0, here for this journey initial speed is V1, of course it is the final speed. Why? Because for this journey speed is constant. Then if you want to go with S is equal to ut plus half at squared, here you don't know velocity for this journey, okay, but we know acceleration, time, all these things in the first 5 seconds. So we can write here V is equal to u plus at. V is V1, u is 0, a is 1. For this time interval we are writing acceleration 1, time 5 seconds. Then you will get final velocity for this journey from A to B. So into t is 5 seconds. So this is 5 meter per second. V1 5 meter per second. Now here from B to C journey, velocity is same, acceleration 0, distance traveled we are letting as S2. So S is equal to ut plus half at squared. Here S is S2, u is V1. For this entire journey velocity remains constant, into time. Acceleration for this BC journey is 0. So here V1 what we derived is 5 and time what we have taken is 5. So 5 into 5, 25 meters. Now the total distance travelled S is S1 plus S2, which is 12.5 plus 25. So the total distance is 37.5 meters. So this is the method. When you are doing problems based on equations of motion with the constant acceleration methods, there you have only 4 expressions. V is equal to u plus at, S is equal to ut plus half at squared, V squared minus u squared 2as, Sn is equal to u plus a into n minus half. And one more expression is S is equal to V1 plus V2 by 2, which is average velocity into time. So you have to decide which expression is suitable, that is based on the data. So here the journey is divided into 2 parts for first time and second time interval. Based on the given data, accelerations, here we solved in this pattern. Fine. Here is a question for you. A police car at rest on a straight road. A thief running away with a bike crosses the car at t is equal to 0. The policeman starts his car at t is equal to 5 seconds. Means after the thief bike crosses him, after 5 seconds policeman starts and chases the thief. The bike moves with constant velocity 16 meter per second, while police car moves with acceleration 2 meter per second squared. Find the time when the car will catch bike. So here problem given is, if policeman is at this point, he is at rest, his initial velocity is 0. Here bike crosses him. When bike reaches to this distance, then after 5 seconds, policeman starts. So when policeman starts, bike already reached to this point. Now what time after policeman can catch the bike? Here policeman moves with acceleration 2 meter second inverse 2, and bike is moving with speed, constant speed 16 meter per second. So when bike crosses the policeman and traveled a distance up to here, let it be some x. Let it be some x. Now policeman here catches bike. Fine. So during that time when policeman catches bike, bike traveled the distance x. In order to catch the bike, policeman should also travel the same distance x. Since policeman started here, bike crossed the policeman here. So after some time t0, let the time taken for bike to travel this distance is t0. Okay, bike traveled this distance is t0. Now policeman started after 5 seconds. That means policeman has to reach this distance t0 minus 5 seconds. Why? Because already when bike crosses him, after 5 seconds he started. So bike reached this point in t0 seconds. Let's some numerical example. If bike reached from this point to this point, time taken is some 12 seconds. Then policeman started after 5 seconds. Then he reached this point in 7 seconds. Then only he can catch the bike. The distance traveled by the two are same. The thing is, initially bike leads and finally policeman crosses bike. Right? Now for policeman, distance x, initial velocity u, time taken for policeman is t0 minus 5, means t0 is the time taken for bike to reach that point when he crosses the policeman. Then policeman takes t0 minus 5 seconds to catch him. So time taken for policeman, initial velocity of policeman, distance traveled by policeman is x, acceleration of police is given as 2 meters second inverse 2. Now taking s is equal to ut plus half at squared, x is equal to 0, since initial velocity is 0, half a is 2, and this is t0 minus 5. For policeman we are taking it as t1, which is t0 minus 5 whole squared. Now after cancellation, the distance traveled by policeman is t0 minus 5 whole squared. Now for thief, distance traveled is x, time is t0, he taken a time t naught, velocity is constant 16 meter per second, acceleration is 0 since velocity is constant. So taking again s is equal to ut plus half at squared, here time we have considered as t2 for thief, then s x, u is 16, time is t naught and acceleration 0. So here x is 16 t naught. In order to catch the thief, if a thief traveled from O to B dash, then the same distance the policeman has to traverse. So the distance traveled by both police and thief is the same. So equating 1 and 2, we have t naught minus 5 whole squared is equal to 16 t naught. Now t naught squared plus 25 minus 10t is equal to 16 t naught from this a minus b whole squared. Now this is t naught squared. Bringing this 16 t naught to this side, you will get 26 t naught plus 25 is equal to 0. Now t naught squared minus, we can write 25 t naught minus t naught. So it will be 25 t naught squared plus 25 0. Here t naught minus 25, taking t naught as common, and here minus 1 as common, you will get t naught minus 25. So here t naught may have the value t naught minus 25 0. So t naught is 25 r. Now t naught is 1, invalid. Why? Because here police jeep starts after 5 seconds. When bike takes some time to reach 1 second to reach B dash, then policeman starts 1 minus 5 seconds, which is minus 4, which is not valid. So here t naught is 25 seconds time taken to catch the bike with respect to bike, and policeman takes 20 seconds to reach P dash. Why? Because he started after 5 seconds. Okay, this is the problem, and here you have to look for the data. What is the data given? Okay, here when thief passes the police and after 5 seconds policeman reacts, then the distance traveled to catch the thief should be same, and time taken is less than 5 seconds less than the total time for policeman. So equating the distances, we will get time. Okay, so far we discussed about constant acceleration methods. Means during the journey velocity constantly changes. Of course it changes, but that change is constant. So acceleration, which is change in velocity, remains constant. For acceleration constant, then we can use equations of motion. But if acceleration is not constant, acceleration is not uniform, then how to approach? Not only for acceleration methods, in our physics, if we want to go with problems where physical quantities depends on other physical quantities like position, time, etc., then for those methods one variable depends on another variables or another variable, then how to solve those problems? Here we have differentiation and integration methods. So first differentiation. Basically, when we are going for differentiation or integration, keep in your mind that these methods are applicable when there is a continuous changes and you are finding out instant change or instant values when you are using differentiation. That means here y, it is a physical quantity or a variable which depends on x. Then we can say y is a function of x. That means say an example as y is equal to 2x squared plus x. So if x changes, y also changes. So y is said to be function of x. Now if there is a change in x which is said to be delta x, then there is a change in y which is said to be delta y. For a change in delta x, change in y is delta y. Then for delta x change with respect to change in x, what is the change in y? This is said to be delta y by delta x. But what we are saying, for an instant changes during very short time interval, then if delta x tends to 0, for very small changes, means during that instant, it can be written as dy by dx. Dx is very small change. For this change in y is dy. These are very small values. Here dy by dx is called derivative of y. Okay, dy by dx is called derivative of y with respect to x. So here this is differentiation. When we use this differentiation is used when you want to get small values from larger ones. Example, if this is the board, this is having a large area, length is more and width is also more. So it is having a large area. From this large area, if you want to find any small area, then this board to be divided into so many parts. That division may be depending on length or width. So here this area changes with length and width. So when you are dividing the entire board into small parts, one such small part is this one. So here this small part is obtained by dividing the total part into small ones. So this is called differentiation. Differentiation means taking the large value and dividing it into small elements. Okay, when that differentiation is needed in physics, differentiation is needed when one physical quantity in physics depends on another physical quantity. Then it needs, generally one physical quantity in physics depends on another physical quantities like position or time. Then we have to go for this differentiation methods. This is called derivative, dy by dx. When there is a large change or considerable change in x, due to the change in x, there is a change in y. So for the small change in delta x, there is a change in delta y. If that change is reduced to 0, then it becomes dy by dx, very small values. This is the differentiation. Here differentiation needed when there is a change, continuously changes, then you want to find instant change. And second one, when physical quantity depends upon another physical quantity like position or time. These are the two concepts when we go for differentiation, and you need basic formulae in differentiation. So here d by dx of x power n means x power n is the physical quantity which can be y. If y is x power n, if y is x power n, then d by dx of y means x power n. Then the differentiation for this x power n is n into x power n minus 1. Here I am writing some basic formulae in differentiation which you should need the memory for this d by dx of x power n are all the differentiation formulae which I am writing here. So in your mathematics again you will encounter with these all formulae with derivations, but for our physics, while we want to go with these formulae, you should remember all these basic formulae for differentiation. Okay, so d by dx of x power n is n into x power n minus 1. Similarly, d by dx of log base e x is 1 by x. d by dx of e power x is again e power x. d by dx of e power nx is n into e power nx. d by dx of sin x is cos x. d by dx of cos x is minus sin x. d by dx of sin nx is n into cos nx. d by dx of cos nx is minus n into sin nx. So you should remember all these formulae, and here in your first year intermediate, number of times repeating formula is d by dx of x power n is equal to n into x power n minus 1. This is the most important one to solve our physics problems. Similarly, here there is d by dx of tan x, cot x, secant x, cosecant x. Before writing that formula, here up to here you can by heart for the sake. Thereafter, when you encounter all these formulae in your mathematics, there you can know the derivations. But before going to tan x, cot x formulae, secant x, all these, here some more formulae we have to write. If this is d by dx of u plus v, then we can write this one as du by dx plus dv by dx. Okay, this is sum in differentiation. Similarly, if we go for product, this is called product. d by dx of means here u, v both depends on x. When you are differentiating a variable, means here these variables should be function of this x only. As we wrote here, y depends on x, then only you can differentiate y with respect to x. Y should be function of x, then only you can differentiate. If y is not depending on x, how can you differentiate it? If y is not depending on x, if x changes, why don't bother? What does it mean? If x changes, since y depends on x, y also changes. That is the point here. If y is constant or y is independent of x, then if x changes, y does not change. That means here also d by dx of some constant. Here y is some constant. Then on x it is not depending. So if x changes, no change in y, means dy change in y 0, means y is not changing. Why? Because it is not depending on x, it is a constant. Okay. So here uv should depend on x, then only you can write du by dx plus dv by dx. Here also, if both are variables depending on x, these both are function of x, then when you are differentiating here, first u dv by dx, taking one as constant and differentiating the other, and now taking v as constant, differentiating u du by dx. Okay. Similarly, if this is division, if this is u by v, then here the differentiation formula v squared v du by dx minus u dv by dx. So here for your first year and second year intermediate or JEE or NEET physics, here you require these formulae, very most important one. So remember at least these formulae, very important, and sometimes these formulae also comes into the picture. So again here we can go for d by dx of tan x, cot x, secant x, all these things. Based with this d by dx of u by v method, we can solve those formulae which will be discussed in the next class. Okay.